I did not get to meet Coach Royal, but I got a wonderful video message from Edith when I first got the job here that I still have. And the impact that they've had here, not only at the University of Texas, but in Austin, the impact that Coach Royal had on the game of football itself, and the fact that, I get to sit in the same chair he did is pretty humbling. It's definitely an honor. And so hopefully, we can go out and play a brand of football and a style of football that he'd be proud of as well.
Well, here we go, a full house, and I hate to start the final installment of Camp Hook'em football on a somber note. I like to call her the eternal first lady of Longhorn football, the Edith Royal. Great life, 98 years old, and her husband, the legendary Texas football coach, Darrell K. Royal. He passed away, I think, 13 or 12 years ago. I want to start with Stevie because you played for Mac Brown, and Mac was very close to DKR and his wife. Just real quick, your thoughts on Miss Edith and her ties and love for Longhorn football.
I met Coach Royal when I was playing, and then I met Miss Edith, I think shortly after I got done playing at Texas. But his impact on the program was really through Mac Brown about keeping all the old players or the alumni around and around the other players. That was a big influence that Coach Brown had from Coach Royal, and I felt it a lot more whenever I got done playing when he invited us all to come back. I remember I was out one year when they won a national championship. He invited me back, and I was in the parade like I won the thing. So that was pretty influential from Coach Royal and the Royal family over Coach Brown, which kind of spilled over into my years.
Danny, you're covering the beat right now, which Danny Davis does a great job and does great stories and good content. You followed it and know all about it. I believe you've written a couple of pieces, but 98 years, we all hope to live a healthy life like that. But for you, covering the heartbeat of the program, for those maybe watching the first time and really not sure, what did she mean to the program as far as the historical perspective?
There's a lot of statesman writers who could talk a lot more about this than I could. Darrell quit coaching 10 years before I was born. So I can't really speak too much on the impact he had on the program and, the impact Edith had as kind of the first lady. Obviously, we've heard the stories and we do know the legacy. Over the next couple of days, whether it's, hearing Stevie talk or other players talk or, friends of the program, they're going to talk and whatever, obituaries are written over the next couple of days. There's going to be nothing but nice things said about Edith. You could tell Steve was that was off the cuff today. He was kind of maybe briefed a little bit that she had passed right before he walked in, but it wasn't like he had a lot of time to prepare a statement before what he said. Russell would have been in his opening statement today. So, he was kind of talking from the heart, his limited interactions with her, but obviously he knows the importance she had to this program. So, there's a lot of people who could speak a lot better about this than I could, but obviously 98 years is a life well lived. And I think McConaughey, who I'm hesitant to quote him on anything, but he was, talking today about, she's going to be remembered. And I think that's what any of us would like to, say when we get on out of here, is that we're going to be remembered, well after we leave.
Barker, I think you and Bob Ballou, I correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just thinking back that maybe you two did a piece with Miss Edith before.
That was probably Anthony and Bob, but I mean, even just hearing, echoing what Danny said, just hearing all the stories, that's the great part about sports. And then obviously when it's, coincides with a great university like UT and then athletics and all that, the legacy continues to live on. And even, we didn't necessarily, at least I'll speak for myself, I didn't, get to live to see, I wasn't around when he was coaching ball and they were winning national championships, but you hear all the stories later, and that's the legacy that lives on. And, I think that's the time that's obviously it's sad when we lose somebody like Miss Edith today, but it's also time to celebrate the life and the legacy.
How about you, Tyler? I know that you spent a few years here in Austin. You've heard of her, and I don't expect you to have the stories because of the time frame you've been here toward. But what have you been told about the Royal family and mainly Miss Edith?
Well, I'd like to focus on just the fact that in this country, the first lady, you think the White House and the president, and you think college football. So 98 years, an incredible life lived. I've only heard great things about what Darrell K. Royal and Edith have done for not just Texas football, but the Austin community. So I think you focus in on the uniqueness of college football, the pageantry that Steve Sarkisian always talks about, which is why he loves the game so much. And the First Lady, Edith, a big part of that. So 98 years, incredible. The impact, long lasting, quite the legacy for the Royal family.
100%. And then I'll wrap it up by saying this. She, 12 years after her husband passed away, and she was still visible. She was still active, kind of like an adopted daughter of hers, Jenna McEachern, who's an author, former cheerleader at UT, and her husband was a former quarterback in the late 70s. Every time I saw Miss Edith, which was a few times, big smile, always had something funny to say, and just an example of a strong woman. That's what I remember about her. And so thoughts and prayers to the Royal family and, of course, the Longhorn family. Hey, before we move forward, each of these four sponsors, Hargrove Roofing, know who's on your roof. Stevie, man, we can't move on without you saying it.
Well, you just said it. But Hargrove Roofing, know who's on your roof.
That's real nice, Clark. Honest Plumbing and Air, where handshake still means something, in Dirty Martin's Place. Fantastic food, and Jimmy Saxton State Farm Insurance Agency. Insuring Austin for well over 3 decades. Hey, let's pick up the pace because it's season opening game week.
Yes, we got a lot of confidence in our team. You know, we were the young team for 2 years. We had a bunch of freshmen out here, a bunch of kids that look like Doogie Howser, you know, and they're growing up now. You know, now we have more experience. You know, I think 17 of our 22 starters have over 1,000 snaps, which is a lot of snaps. And so we've got more experience, we're wiser, and we have a better plan.
All right, Jay Norvell, the head coach of the Colorado State Rams. We'll begin with you, Danny, then Tyler, then Barker, then last but definitely not least, the Stevie Lee. You heard him. He brought in a lot of young players and got them a lot of experience 3 years ago. They look like Doogie Howser, MD, youthful. Danny, what do you like about this team, the Colorado State Rams, if you have any insight on that, any Fort Collins connections that makes you think they may give Texas somewhat of a ride in the first half?
I mean, I like the fact that the score is 0-0 when it's kicked off. What we're talking about. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I think everyone outside of that locker room thinks that Texas is going to roll in this game, but this is a good early test for this Texas team. And, you know, maybe it'll be a game for the first half, but Texas can get some players. And I'm sorry, as my son is screaming in the background, that Paw Patrol's going off.
I love it.
But yeah, this is going to be a blowout. Texas is going to roll, and hopefully, if you're a Texas fan, everyone gets out of here healthy.
How about you, Tyler? What do you want to see from Texas in this opener? Because I will venture to say Norvell and this group, they've probably installed this game plan 2 weeks ago.
Danny, I say, not so fast. Just kidding. Yeah, I mean, it's did I pause long enough for the dramatic effect?
Well done.
Look, I'm just excited to have college football back. I'm sure the Rams are too. They have opportunity to play at Texas, which I'm sure a lot of those guys are pretty fired up about. But the reality is it's Texas, a veteran team, versus a Colorado State team where the head coach is being interviewed on the practice field, which is something, if you're a Texas, you just that's new world to me. That's just an unbelievable scene juxtaposed against what we see from the Longhorns in a press situation. But look, I'm just excited for the football to be kicked off. Burnt orange in Austin, stadium filled, first game, and Colorado State is going to try their best. And hey, maybe they'll make it close. Look, they might make it close. Texas gets the cobwebs off, but second half, I just think it turns into a blowout.
How about you, Barker? Any chance? Well, what do you want to see? Let's focus on what do you want to see from the Longhorns? What do you establishing their will, so to speak?
First of all, did he think the Doogie Howser reference was like gonna get like his crew fired up? We're like doctor who's 14 years old or like whatever the hell that show is about. Like what is that? Like it should be some sort of like real underdog story that he should be. I mean, I know what he was saying is he's got a young team, but I mean, come on, we got to have a better reference than that, Coach. I think the only thing in question in this game is the point spread clinch, and that's about all I've got from it. What I want to see is just a total ass whooping. No doubt, start to finish. Backups in by the third quarter. Cover the number and go to Ann Arbor.
32.5 points. I think that's the spread as we record this episode. 32.5, 32.5 points. Stevie, how can you play off of that? You know, you can say a score prediction on this game and maybe a season record prediction. I'm going to go ahead and say, Stevie, this will be close for 2 quarters because Norvell's going to throw everything at Texas.
What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's close, man. I think what we're going to do is probably show some base defense and base offense, throw in some things that we may have done last year not to show our hand. The most important game is the next game, right?
Right.
But we don't want to put on film what we're going to do in the next game after that, right? So it's going to be hot, and I don't think Jay Norvell's team understands how hot it's going to be down here at 2:30 in DKR Stadium, man. I went out there at 10 o'clock to watch a practice, and I was ready to go home. And I was just standing on the sideline, dude. So it's going to be – what I do want to see is how our DBs hold up, because I think, Jay, you're right, going to throw everything at us and try to test us deep. So I want to see how we can get push on the line with just the front four and how the DBs hold up deep down the field.
I take that. I'll say Texas. I'll say the Rams put up 17 on Texas. Texas does not cover the spread. I'll say 45-17.
Okay.
63-3.
63-3.
I'm not going to fight you, man.
What are you saying, Danny? What do you think?
I have a long-standing policy about not giving score predictions because you can't win. I mean, you can get 45-point win and it's 44, and some joker's going to get on you for being wrong. So
the Twitter warriors.
We'll just let's keep it moving.
Yeah, this cautiously optimistic Sean Clinch of 17 points against Colorado State. Is that I don't know this guy. It's not the man cave leader I know.
I just see a lot of season openers. Anything I saw Wyoming last year to know what I know. That's all.
Give me 42-14. I'll put a prediction.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So there's a lot of newcomers, but Malik Muhammad gives us some insight on one guy that has a lot of speed.
You better not miss. He got jets. He will go to the house. You better not miss.
Have you seen it as example when someone has missed or what has happened?
I don't really want to speak on it, but I've seen it.
All right, Silas Bolden, phenomenal. I have not seen the guy. You guys have seen him, and Danny has, and maybe Stevie has. Is Silas Bolden one of those guys that'll be a regular part of the receiver rotation, or will he be a specialist as a returner?
I mean,
Can't two things be true?
You can, or both.
Yeah, I think regular rotate. I mean, speed. You got to put speed on the field, and that's why we pay Sharp almost $10 million a year. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's getting, but he has to put the speed on the field and find a way to get him the ball.
I got that. Danny, I know it's hard for me when I ask Danny or any of the other guys because I'm right there with them when I was in the media. We saw 8.5 minutes of practice. But what are you guys hearing about Silas and his impact on this offense?
I mean, everyone has rave reviews for him, but as anyone on this call can attest, I could be at the team and people would be saying nice things about me during these preseason press conferences if you ask questions about me. And my hands were terrible in high school. So, I mean, it's going to be a matter of seeing him on the field. His accolades speak for themselves. You can kind of very angry crowd in the background.
Another Silas Bolden fan back there.
Yeah, but
he wants to chime in.
He's fired up.
He's a grad transfer from Oregon State. Obviously, he came here for a reason, and we'll see it on the field.
How about you, Barker?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for Silas Bolden in this offense is that he doesn't have to be everything. He doesn't have to be a guy that catches 10 passes a game. I mean, everyone's talking about the speed. That's really all they need from him. They've got enough talent, and even if it's not guys that are really proven in this offense with Quinn Ewers, they have plenty of extremely talented receivers to where it's not like he has to truly live up to all this hype. But yeah, it is interesting how that this whole hype train kind of gets rolling for certain guys. Right. And I'm not saying that he's not going to live up to it and he's not going to have 8 touchdowns or 10 touchdowns or whatever you would consider a great season for him. But I think we're also leaving out some guys like, Isaiah Bond did it at Alabama last year, caught that pass in the Iron Bowl in the back of the end zone to save their season, essentially. Like, I feel like I haven't heard much about him, and maybe it's just because, like I said, we saw it last year. So, yeah, Silas Bolden doesn't need to be like 10 catch a game guy.
No. Hey, Feldman, I put this up. Impactful newcomers on this offense. There's quite a few, and I think that's the norm now. When you say newcomer, you're going to have at the program like this, you're going to have tons of graduate transfers, portal guys, and of course your signees. You covered spring, you covered the program for 3 years. Who are maybe your impactful newcomers that you're anxious to see what they do here?
Well, let's keep this on the same train with Bolden and Bond. Killer bees. I haven't seen killer bees possibly like this since the Steelers back in the mid-2000s with Bell and Brown. So I'm excited to see the speed, the skill, everything I've read, seen, heard about these guys, dynamic offensive playmakers. And guess what? That's what Sark loves. Sark loves those huge playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. So that's got me fired up. And I'd like to see them do some stuff early. I mean, not giving everything away like Stevie said, but I'd like to see them get sprinkled in and see what they're made of in front of the home crowd, home opener.
Stevie, who's your newcomer that you maybe saw him at practice or you keep hearing?
I really we talked about it before. I really did like Bond. Yeah. And but is he a newcomer? I mean, it was at a different university last year doing very well. So newcomer to the University of Texas, yes. Bond, I think I told you on the show, I think he'll have the most catches this season.
That's solid.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break, pay tribute to our guys at Dirties. And on the other side, a running back that not many people are talking about. He's not even on scholarship. And we'll find out why Danny and I are wearing rival colors. It's a very special football game.
Let's turn the page.
Part of the state. We'll see you on the other side. Austin, Texas is changing every day, but one constant is Dirty Martin's Place on Guad. Dirty's recently celebrated 98 years young, and the future is solid. And this space in the back is open to host any event, personal or business related.
Hey everyone, it's Daniel here at Dirty Martins. We're in the Burn Orange Room. We are currently booking a lot of parties back here. If you can see, we got a capacity for about 90 people, but we are excited to host any party that you might want to bring.
Give Daniel Young a call at Dirty's to reserve this space for any event that you can think of.
Colin Page is a hard worker. He sweet kid, really good dude. One of the hardest workers on the team. But I keep telling him just keep working. He's gonna get a shot.
All right, gentlemen. Colin Page, a walk-on from the Anderson High School in Northwest Austin, former Trojan, great running back, non-scholarship player. With all the injuries at running back, and I got it. We always have to start with Danny and Stevie because they're there and they're connected more so than the other half of this podcast. Does Colin Page have a chance to break this rotation at some point? Danny,
you want to go first?
I mean, it doesn't look great since Steve is.
I mean, look at the shirt he's wearing. Of course, he's going to.
Transfers from SMU have been in the portal since February and haven't asked other people to switch positions. But I don't. Even though I'm wearing a McCallum night shirt, I'm free Colin Page. Get that kid a chance. I mean, if you're an Austin area football fan, you know what he can do. He's been getting rave reviews during the scrimmages and during the fall camp. And once again, who exactly knows what that means? But he's give the kid a chance, get a couple carries, and let's see what happens. You already have 3 other scholarship running backs. Let's see what the local kid can do. That's what I'm saying. Get Michael Taff as the walk-on with the heart of gold on defense, and Colin Page as the walk-on with the heart of gold on offense, and let's see what happens. At least in the Colorado State game, we give that kid some play in this Colorado State game,
or Louisiana Monroe as well. Stevie, what did you capture any glimpse of Page at all, or of any of your little network or our mutual friends say anything about the kid?
No. I'm sorry, Paige, but this is the first time I'm hearing. But I'm saying all that to say, if we are all the way down to Colin Page, something horrible has happened, right? Like that means we got some fumble problems. We got some other running. We got some good running backs in that running back room, guys. Like we're gonna be fine at running back, and if we get all the way down to this now. Granted, let's get all the way up on Colorado State and yes, give him some touches. But the question was posed to me was, is he going to see the field? If he's seeing the field on a regular basis, something horrible has happened.
Can't disagree with that. I mean, Tyler Barker.
I'm sorry, I don't want to be negative about the kid.
No, you're facts.
I'm thinking like the worst, like seats have like fallen down on DCAR, like the worst has happened.
So with the we're talking about this running back rotation. I don't know much. I remember the kid from SMU a little bit. And Danny, you said he was in the portal since February. So, and this is, I'm still trying to adjust to this new age college football. So basically a free agent was still on the market 6 months ago, from 6 months ago. That's what we're saying. And we can add players this deep into camp.
To be fair, Steve did explain that he had to get some stuff wrapped up school-wise so he could graduate transfer. And I assume that the graduate transfer part made it a little easier to just jump onto a roster. But it is a little weird that we are 6 to 5 days away from the season opener, and someone is just joining the team who wasn't even on campus a couple days ago. So that's 2024. That's what this college football world is now.
Look, there is nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong with being a free agent on the market. Okay, guys, there is nothing wrong with that. Okay?
I've been on the free agent for a long time until recently. I know how you feel, Tyler. So
don't let Feldman turn this into his own personal therapy.
No.
Are we still talking football?
There's nothing wrong with it. What are you trying to construe here?
Are we still talking football? I mean,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Barker, what do you think's the best storyline on defense? Because again, a program like this is going to have turnover of turnover every year because of the era of football we are with the portal and everything. What are we not talking about that may be the best story on this defense, if you had to guess?
Not talking about? That's tough, but I do think the best storyline overall, if you're a Texas fan, you hope, is the improved pass rush. Or I guess to throw a second one in there, the improved secondary as well. But definitely I think the pass rush is a storyline everyone's talking about, but I do think it is going to be the best storyline for Texas. I think they've got a bunch of dudes out there. I mean, we could go through and list all of them, but obviously it starts with Barron Sorrell coming back and then Trey Moore coming from UTSA. So I think Texas fans should be excited to see what those guys can do, because we saw last year they had it down in the interior with Murphy and Sweat, but on the outside, you saw it in the Washington game, plenty of times where they got to the quarterback, they got to Penix, but couldn't bring him to the ground. So hopefully you've got that next tier of pass rusher where, more consistently they can get to the quarterback, but then actually bring him to the ground. So I think that's the best storyline on defense, or at least you hope so if you're a Texas fan.
What do you think, Feldman? Anything to add to that? Because personally, I like the improved secondary.
Yeah, Barker was spewing some really great stuff there.
It was beautiful, award-winning.
It was really award-winning. It's like this guy's had a little break, from talking sports and now back in front of the mic, and he's really well rested and can come out with some good information.
We're all proud of him. He did a great job.
Grows a mustache and look at him. He's the
Well, the mustache, I hope that's cleaned up by Saturday, by kickoff.
Hey, you know what? It's just in that awkward phase right now where you gotta let it grow a little bit, or you gotta just shave it off at some point, and I don't know.
You look like you're gonna be a pirate for Halloween, and October's still 2 months away.
Hey, well, guess what? I'm getting on it early.
Hey,
what are you gonna be, a free agent?
Hey, you know what? Maybe I will.
Let's all get along.
Maybe I will.
Hey, we got the Gardner Minshew. Well, maybe you're trying to influence Gardner Minshew with a new look. I mean, that's clean and crisp, right?
We're ECU Pirate, Gardner Minshew.
That's very nice. Hey, from porn stashes to dad jokes. Tell me if this was just a dad joke that didn't really have the effect desired.
Secondly, I think I had the dutiful knowledge to tell you that it is going to be a neutral site game. We're going to move the game to Dallas one year, and the next year we are going to move to – just joking. How ridiculous is that? To see Coach, holy cow, we're not doing that. Everyone just puckered up just a little bit.
I'm pretty sure everybody thought that there was a small chance that would have been the announcement. But Danny, you covered it. Did you at all think? I mean, I think we all thought it was a corporate sponsorship deal, which it was or is. But was there any small chance in your mind that you thought they'd go to a neutral site once every 3 or 4 years?
No, absolutely not, because alums like Stevie would be over there beating PDC down if that ever happened. But I can tell you that I was in the room when Chris said that, and I'm looking up Cotton stuff and trying to figure out more about this corporate sponsor. Right. And he said that, and I nearly had a heart attack because I was just like, excuse me, what did he just say? I thought I was going to have to control alt delete and start freaking out. Then all of a sudden, he goes like, I'm joking and stuff like that. And I was able to breathe a sigh of relief. But that's one of those things, the Red River rivalry, that's one thing. I think everyone's kind of accepted the uniqueness of that game, and Florida, Georgia, them doing a neutral site. But a game like Texas A&M, that belongs in two places, and that's Austin College Station. And there's no way the fans, the alums, or anyone would allow that game to be played at NRG Stadium or some neutral site nonsense. That game is for campuses only, and I'm sure Stevie will agree with me on that.
Absolutely agree with you. And yes, we would have been beating down his door for sure. We're going into the SEC. This is a very important year for college or for Texas football. It's very important right now. But the most excited I am about is that A&M game, that Texas A&M game, man. To have that back on the books. I remember my brothers when I played we got excited for that game because it was high school all over again. It's like the nostalgia of playing your high school buddies again and playing against your old high school friends, So it's going to be fun. I cannot wait for that game.
How about you, Barker? I don't think either one of you had the opportunity to cover one of these games.
I didn't cover any, but I went to a few growing up as a kid. But I think the only thing I have to add is you could tell CDC was getting a little nervous there for a second. Like he was ready to roll, like have somebody roll the laugh track in because it took a minute, and then all of a sudden people like threw him the bone, and we're like, oh yeah, oh of course it's not. But when I watched that, I was like, man, he got a little nervous there. And usually CDC can land the plane on a good joke.
Yeah,
he's pretty solid. Feldman, were you at all entertained by that attempt?
I'm always entertained by CDC. We've all seen enough executives, coaches, athletes speak, and CDC works a room better than he might be a top five room worker when it comes to announcing things. Like just a little bit of pizzazz, nothing crazy. Got people to pucker up, as he said. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. I think it's hilarious. He definitely knows how to tell a story and make a room captivated, and attention's on him for sure.
Oh, he does a great job. I agree. That's a good statement. I will say this, and I think Stevie will agree with this, but growing up, listen, I love Texas OU. I think it's the most unique environment in the entire country. But I think the A&M or Texas and A&M game, to me, is above Texas OU and Dallas. It's just because as far as national, Texas OU. But in the state of Texas, the Aggies and Longhorns, there's more hatred involved, in my opinion. More.
Actually, it's actually more love in that game, actually.
Love and hate.
Yeah, but it makes it more it is important. The most important game is always the next game. So
the second time you keeping tally?
Yeah.
You're right. The Michigan game is really important.
But no, it's a very, very important game just for the state of Texas and the pride and win the tradition of Texas,
Sometimes the people who love you the most can hurt you the most too.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's not about the hate with Texas A&M. It's about the love, actually. I love my little brother, but I want to beat the hell out of him,
Well, I will say, as an outsider who doesn't, really care who wins this game either way, but there is an entire generation that is not connected to this rivalry.
That's a great point.
And regardless how old you are, if you're a Longhorn fan, to hate that other team across the Red River. You have friends that go to Texas A&M. You have, you've grown up maybe making fun of the Aggies and stuff like that, but you have not been taught to hate that team over Thanksgiving dinner. And, even with the rivalry coming back, it's not on Thanksgiving anymore. They're trying to figure out what exactly to do with it. It may take a couple years for that rivalry to get back up to the level it was 20, 30 years ago. But I think right now it's still probably Red River. Most Texas fans, if you're going to ask them who their biggest rival is, probably Oklahoma right now. But who knows, maybe in a few years, A&M gets right back to that place it was before Justin lined up for that 40-yard kick in 2011.
And I understand you said you asked most Texas fans, but if you ask most Texas alum, it's that A&M game. It really is. It's that A&M game.
I'm sure a certain age of Texas fans, but you went to Texas in the last 14 years. I mean, you don't care about A&M. You didn't play them.
Yeah.
Like even if you are a Texas fan, I mean, you can probably count on if you played football for the last 12 years, you never played Texas A&M. You played basketball, you've never played Texas A&M. You played baseball, and baseball is a little different because they did compete against each other, but there's maybe 3 games that counted in that baseball series the last 10 years. So even if you're an alum, older alums and alums who are, the age of the people on this call, sure. But if you graduated in the last 10 years, it's OU. It's not A&M. Like you just can't. I just don't think you can say that and be serious if you graduated in the last 10 years just because you never played.
Yeah. Also, in the last 10 years, we weren't that good, so we don't really listen to them anyway.
Wait, when I graduated from UT in 15, so I only got one A&M game, and it was the last A&M game. So I actually I got to see a little bit of what Stevie's talking about, but I also kind of agree with what Danny's saying.
Yeah, I get you. I hear what you're saying, Danny, but I guess I'm in the old school, bro. Like it's the nostalgia of the and I thought, didn't they put the game on Saturday this year? Isn't it on Saturday?
Put on Friday or Saturday?
It's a mistake to put it on Saturday because it either need to be on Thanksgiving or that's Friday.
Stand alone.
Right? It's on Saturday. It will never go back to Thanksgiving, but I think they'd like it to go back on Friday.
Yeah.
It should be on Friday. I'm usually in Shreveport with my family. But if it was on Friday, I would try to get back and because that's just nostalgia for me, man.
No, it is. I remember plenty of times, mid-'80s. I think they experimented with the day after. I think that started mid-'90s. But I remember Thanksgiving dinner, you're with your family, and we rushed to get to the game that night and Thanksgiving. And then back then, it was the Aggies dominating that series at that point. But
Danny, I'm curious to know why you think it won't be on Thanksgiving.
I don't compete with the NFL, and the NFL has this now, and I think for TV reasons, they just don't want to go down that road.
I forgot we had a league, an NFL league. I forgot about that.
The not for long. Yeah.
I mean,
hey man, tell me something good.
Damn, Stevie, I cut you off. That was not done. Finish your statement.
No, I just think college football is just here for everybody. There's a few people that's about NFL football, man, but college football is it.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, now that the Lions are good, you don't mess with Thanksgiving, all right?
Who? What is a lion?
It's this animal. It's got this ferocious scream. They call it a roar.
And they're blue and silver?
Yeah, It's a silver lion. Native to lands I'm not aware of.
Exactly.
Well, here's where we like to end on something amazing, comical, inspiring, positive. We'll start with you, JB. Tell me something good, brother.
Hey, it's game week. I'm out of the TV biz. I'm going to the game. I'm tailgating. I paid way too much money for tickets, but I don't care. It's my wife's birthday on Saturday. We're going to have a great time. We're going to spend a ton of money and then probably never go to another game. It'll be great. I'll watch the rest at home on TV.
Hey, JB, real quickly, who did you reach out to last week about any fresh ideas for the wife's birthday?
I did. I had to reach out to Mr. Feldman over there because he actually lives in the Austin scene these days. You know, because I've got a great wife now. I'm out of that scene. No longer a free agent. I'm well off the market. So I had to reach out to the free agent who's living life out there with the single ladies in Austin to see what people do in the city now.
Oh my gosh.
Well done, man. How about you, Feldman? You're living a good life. Tell us something good.
I'm actually heading out of town Saturday morning. My cousin's getting married in the Philly area. So that's going to be great. You know, family getting married, tying the knot. Looking forward to seeing extended family that I don't get to see, friends. And getting back on the East Coast. So missing the first game day of the season here in Austin, but for good reason.
Hey, just as long as you come back, everything will be all good. That's what, biased opinion. Stevie Lee, tell me something good, brother. We have we'll pick up our episodes next weekend, next Sunday, post game of Colorado State. But man, you're all over the place. You can go foodie route, family, football. What season opening week is like here in the ATX? But tell me something good, brother.
Man, something good for me really is college football is here, man. Watching that game this past Saturday. Georgia Tech and Florida State. Happy that Florida State went down and they can stop whining. But it was in a beautiful stadium in Ireland. It was the whole feel and vibe of college football. If we have more games like that this year, we're going to have a great year of college football. Yeah. And it's going to be fun. That's something good. It's back, guys. And I love watching these kids play. I'm so happy that they get a little money in their pocket nowadays. I wish I left college with $100,000. So I'm happy for him. This is fun. This is a good year. It's my daughter's senior year. That's something good. I am fired up for this fall, man.
I love it. Danny Davis in the McCallum blue polo. It looks good on you, brother. But tell me something good, what you're thinking at this moment.
Something good is Ed Small is a senior, and I don't have to worry about him after the season. He can go on and get to TCU because I'm tired of seeing that young man do what he does in the Taco Shack Bowl. But I mean, it's game week. I mean, Thursday is going to be a lot of fun when the high school season kind of kicks off, and Taco Shack Bowl, that's the thing that goes all day, starting in the morning on TV, go throughout the day, watch the game at night. Then obviously we head into the weekend. Friday's Friday Night Lights, Saturday college football day. We still have to wait one more week for the NFL, but it's football season. So, if you're a football lover, which, in this state, you kind of have to be, good luck if you're not. It's our time to shine. It's going to be 4 fun months, and it all starts on Thursday.
I love it. And so he's got the McCallum shirt because due to his wife, that's her employer, and she's part of the McCallum family. And look at this, the Anderson Trojans, the rivalry, the top 2 boxes, very fitting here. We didn't call it Taco Shack. We didn't have a sponsor back then. We just played in front of 400 people at Nelson Field and called it a night. And we did beat McCallum my last game, my senior year, season of 1990. It was very cold. It was 44 degrees. That's cold to me. But McCallum, Anderson, we all know each other. It's great here in Austin. It's become, honestly, I want to list one of my top 30, 40 games in the state to see annually. House Park Stadium, beautiful view of downtown. It's old. It smells like bat urine, and it's beautiful. It's amazing. And it's 2 old high school football rivals getting after it, hard-hitting rivalry. Let's go, Trojans.
There's nothing more high school football-ish than remembering a game from 1990 and
and then the get off my lawn. We didn't have a sponsor back then.
High school football rant I've heard.
We weren't on KBVO.
All 400 people.
All 400.
Now they have thousands.
Wearing the hat that was probably given out exactly at the game, too.
This was August 28th, 1990. No, this was actually a few years ago.
I was like,
hey, gentlemen,
did you keep that thing in a box for?
Man, I don't know why I love my hats like this, sweat worn. Not all.
It's because there's no hair to absorb the sweat.
That is an excellent point. You have to have follicles to absorb said sweat, which clearly not many exist.
I love it though, man.
Danny, help me out.
Clinch, hats off to you, Clinch. Thanks for having us.
Hey, guys. Tyler Feldman, Jeff Parker, Stevie Lee, Danny Davis, all great humans. Appreciate you guys joining us for this series. All I can tell you guys, have a great football season. And we're gonna let Stevie Lee do this. Stevie, and we got to give a shout out to the OG Man Cave boys, that being Hardball Hearts, Big Mike, and the coach Mo. What do we tell them, Stevie Lee?
We out.